How much people would it take to build a megabase in an hour in Minecraft? What could you alone accomplish if you only had an hour to build in Minecraft? That's what we're going to explore in this video. So let's just get straight into it. I'm going to try to put the castle on top of here, like further in the corner. I'm going to make this area that's like a small town center. And I'm just going to follow natural to curves of the terrain. And I'm just going to build in. And basically, if you don't understand what I'm doing right now, it's just really simple. All I'm going to do is fine. It's fine with the land breaks up like this. And what I'm gonna do is start placing these walls just like this. And it's now gonna be the retaining walls for the actual city or community. Because it looks like they're just living on floating land. They're gonna have some support when it comes to the land. If you guys are enjoying these build tutorials, feel free to drop a subscribe on your boy. Well, I'm not your son. Unless you want me to be. Dad? Is that you? Now we're gonna go ahead now and just finish the wall. Just take everything up to the same height. Very simple, very easy. Follow the natural curve of the terrain. It's gonna give the most dynamic range when it comes to building a wall. So there you go. Now you have your retaining wall in. We aren't done with this wall yet. You'll see we have many steps in the future. So let's go ahead and break off any little outskirting blocks like that. And now you have a main supporting wall. Now what you want to do is actually want to go in with some dirt. I'm going to use a grass block because it just is freaking simpler for me to use a grass block. But in a regular world, dirt would work completely fine as dirt would normally spread and turn everything into grass blocks. But instead of me using the ticks per second exploring this for the grass to grow faster for the video, I'll just use grass blocks and save everybody some time. Pro tip guys, instead of filling this in, what I see people do is just spend all the time collecting dirt to fill in the entire wall. Just go ahead and grab yourself some torches. This will save you so much time. And just do that and do that. And do that just going on the entire wall. It's going to save you so much time because mobs won't spawn under there anymore. Just do that. Just do that guys. It's save you so much time. And what you want to do is just go ahead and fill this in completely. There you go. Now your wall should look something like this. Once you fill in the grass blocks, this is natural. This is good. And then you want to go in with some support pillars. For me, I'm using spruce logs. You can use any block possible. I like to use logs, it just gives me the best aesthetic. I just want to keep consistent with the spacing. For me, I go in on every fourth block. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Count, just go across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place the next log down. It should be very simple. Everybody can do this. What people do is they'll normally make a wall and don't add any support to it. So the wall just looks very flat. So just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Place a support pillar down. Just like that. You should already have it. Now you should have something that look like this. If you place down support pillars, you just made your first retaining wall. So simple, so easy. What we could do is go in with a gradient later on. If you guys want to see us return to this build after the 1 hour challenge, put in chat like /return. And if I see enough people put return in chat, I guess I'll redo it. Or just continue on from where he was. So put return in comments if you want to see us come back. And now we're going to go in with a very simple bridge design. So a bridge design is so simple that I think everybody could do it without much training. But I see everybody that's do these really flat bridges and they tend to look very bad when they try to build an aesthetic build. So we're actually going to make a 2-wide bridge. Other people prefer a 4-wide bridge because it means you can get very simple railings. And I love 4-wide bridges because it tends to give me more direction when it comes to the building aesthetic of it. But I like to just challenge and do a 2-wide bridge, because most people will say that's completely impossible to make look good. But we're going to do it and see how it turns out. So I'm going to make 2 bridges on here. I want to make a short one and I want to make one that goes around this like this long creek, because I really want to embrace the natural terrain. How would they naturally get over this? If they need a place to get over, they have to get a bridge, right? So let's go make a little nice bridge that connects the far land from the inland. Once you have down support pillars in about equal distance, now you want to go ahead and go in with your fence posts. And what you're going to do with these fence posts is actually give support to the pillars. You're trying to make that nice archy rustic look. So go ahead and make them gradient down to the sides just like that. Make sure it's even. If you could do a better job than me, make it more fancy, there's a bunch of designs you can do with this. I'm keeping it nice and simple. I want to give that village aesthetic like, oh, they actually build this up here. So keep it nice and simple, do it equal on both sides. Make sure it goes flush into the wall. It gives it the most cohesive look when it comes to building a bridge. This tends to be kind of style I tend to go for when I'm building a bridge. So yeah, do it just like this. And if you're good, you just created 2 bridges going in. So simple, so easy. I hope it looks good on your end as well, because I did test this a few times. And usually this bridge design is pretty universal when it comes to looking good for any build. If you guys want a video on just bridges or not on general, I'll do that. That does sound pretty fun. So if you want a video on bridges, I'll just do one covering like 50 bridges or top 10 bridges, something like that. So if you want to see that, just let me know. Of course, like suggestions do help. It tells me what is more interesting for you guys. I do have a Discord and I do post polls on YouTube. So if you do see one of those, do tell me what you want to see because it helps. Now using this red wool right now just to mark out the basic outline of where the castle is gonna go. And the reason I'm using red wool now is because it's just very much easier for you guys to visualize. Oh, this is what this might go, and this is what this might go for you guys, because I tend to just use random blocks. I just how I did it my whole life. I just use random blocks. But like talking to more people in the YouTube space, they tend to use red wool not for them, but for you guys, because it just makes like your life just visualizing where the build gonna end up way easier. So I guess I'll just use wool because maybe it is easier for me looking at it on the outside as well. It is like, I don't know. You're welcome. You're welcome. Here's the red wool. So the red wool basically symbolizes where the front of the castle is gonna go. I think we're gonna integrate it straight into the back of the mountain. And we're gonna carry it going up into the hill. And I think that'll give a lot of depth and variety when it comes to the castle though. As we start, it's gonna look very square, but I am gonna shave off the wall. I am gonna make a very base frame for the first hour. And of course, I said, if you want to continue this build, we'll just say return in chat, I'll come back. And we'll make the castle look all cool. For now, I think we're going to focus entirely on the village. Now I'm going to show you guys how to make a very simple villager house. Now, that's really simple. I'm not going to specify exactly the dimensions you have to use. For me, I'm going at 4 by 5. Because to me, that's just good for a village type house. And it's just going to be within the citizens of the village actually live. It's gonna go in here, and this is what it like. If you look for a normally spawning village, they tend to be slightly smaller than a 5 by 4. So they're actually getting pretty good stuff. I see the economy kind of booming right now. So go ahead and place down your 5 by 4. I'm using stone and normal spruce, kind of sticking in the style of the walls. I use spruce. Let's just assume they're living in this whole spruce empire right now. Even though they have an oak tree back there, let's not ask so much questions. Now you can go ahead and fill this entire bottom in with stone if you want. Or you can go over and place logs. It's really up to you. I'm going to show you guys a few different variations on how to do this. Now I went ahead and tried a very simple oak stairs roof on top of this. Band style, of course. Very simple, keeping it very minimalistic. And now we just go ahead and fill in the windows. This is so simple, so easy. Everybody can get behind this very filler house. You can see now I went ahead and placed the logs down. I am going to go ahead and remove these 2 logs on the other side. Yes, whoever in the chat have OCD. Whoever have OCD and see the stone on one side, don't worry, I am going to fix it now. So, yeah, the idea of these houses is just create some filler. Where in the village, it's just where people live. And it's really simple. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix these logs, okay? You don't have to panic. It's very simple. So, go ahead now and place in this. And I have a very base design. And what you're going to do now is go in and actually place down some supports in the form of stone stairs. Let's go down and place stone stairs around where the actual pillar is going to be. And it's going to give some kind of structure, some base to the actual design of the house, which is actually way more important than some people actually think. So let's go around the side, just like that. You could put on slabs if you want to. I tend not to because you end up with this situation happening where it protrudes more on one side than the other, and one side gonna either look flat and one side gonna poke out too much. So you can come up with all kind of designs for these small houses. I'm gonna end up with a very basic design, so I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So this is the basic look of the house. If you followed right, it should look something like that. It could vary differently based on where you decide to go with, but that's how the house should look. Now we're gonna go down and actually just throw down a few. Just make sure and break the entrance with the actual castle. We're going to go say no not to put our house in front of the castle walkway. So that's when you want to guide the houses kind of going along the path. You want to look like, okay, this is the merchants. This merchants living along the path. It makes it more sense. Later on when we're building, we're going to throw some shops down. They're going to look very lively. So yeah, we might return if we don't finish. I am doubting we're going to finish this in time. Because I don't know if you guys noticed, but at least 50 minutes passed since I started recording this. Yeah, we not finished this. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw down a few more houses. And let's just get back. I'm not gonna make you guys watch this. I'm just gonna get back so when most of the house is done and tell you how much time passed. So that is basically what we end up with. When I throw down a few more houses, we throw down a town style house. We just throw down a few more, so we have the town houses in now. Now what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is create the supporting wall for the, I call the bourgeoisie area, the upper class, gonna go on top of this part with this red wool marking out. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and create a supporting wall. You guys already know how to make a wall, so I'm just gonna speed forward until this wall actually finishes. So there you go, you create a second retaining wall. That's where the bourgeoisie gonna live. Looks pretty good. Now we have a good looking village so far. Let's go ahead now and create the bourgeoisie area. I actually decided to throw down a few like very simple camping areas just around for the villagers. Just thinking about if they had to fish, were they actually going to cook the food? Because I didn't actually install a home with any furnaces, so I created these little camping areas where they can go fish right next to the river and go ahead and cook the fish right here. I think these look really great for the villagers, so I just made these and just left them around. And then I thought of the fact that the villagers didn't have any way to get water, and I was like, oh, this is a bad thing. So I went ahead and, build them a well. And I think it actually turned out pretty well. See what I did there? Did anybody see what I did there? I'm sure everybody's laughing at home right now. Please tell me you're laughing. I just want to be funny. Now we're going to go ahead here and make the upper class area. And I know I was saying that I want to give them a lavish experience, but I really want to make them greedy. So instead of using normal stone, we'll go ahead and use stone bricks. I think that's gonna give the most like, oh, we are a little step up from using stone. We can use bricks. I just grabbed infested stone. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, I use infested stone bricks for this. I didn't even realize. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm gonna place down the stone. And instead of making it a 5x4, I'm gonna give them a 6x5. I think that's gonna be the best dimensions to make it feel a little bigger than the ones below. It just should make them a little more prominent on the map. I'm also gonna make them just slightly more tall when it comes to the base, like the base height of the house. I think that's gonna sell the idea of it actually being a whole bourgeoisie area. But they are gonna follow the same style as the regular villager houses. Just that the roofs, instead of being oak straight through, gonna be spruce straight through, and they're just gonna have more windows and stuff like that. So they're gonna envy the actual bourgeoisie just having more space, and that's practically it. They don't really get more amenities than regular villagers, and I think that's good for society. I don't think people should be like overly rich. A funniest joke, like somebody walked up and watched like one of some SMP videos, and I was like, "Ah, you didn't build that. You schematica that bunker into the map." And I was like, "You can schematica this in? That would save me so much time. I don't know how to do it." I didn't put it a joke. I don't know how to do it. Even though I wanted to cheat, I don't know how to do it. Like I recently learned how to like fill something with like using commands, and I was just for like one. That was for like one video, and I wasn't for like the block one. I did use some fill for that, but I didn't know how to use it. Other than that, I was like trying to do this video with my friend Jonathan, and that's the first time I use a fill command in Minecraft. So like, I don't know how to use like build commands. You kidding me? That's a lot of work. I wish I know how to use build commands. It'd probably save me some time when it comes to making videos and other things. But yeah, here's the proof that I sit here and actually build this out for hour. And there we go. There's the three houses. I want to still really give them a look of the same like villager houses, but just different. I want to give them a darker look, like a more classy look. And I think I really get that with the way that the slight variation in the houses. I think that did make a big impact on making this bourgeoisie area actually have some weight to it. So there we go. We have the bourgeoisie areas in the corner of the map, in the corner of the structure now. It looks great to me. And We ain't even reached the castle portion yet. This is just the village. Now, a tour will be a good idea just to make a really rough outline of the castle. Even though I don't think we're even gonna get an idea for when we're actually gonna finish it. I feel like it's impossible to even do this in an hour. Like, I did see a video. I think it was Iskal. Who was building the castle. And it took him like 24 hours just to do a very rudimentary one. And I was like, okay, that's kind of impossible. I am going to give a very basic outline. We are getting further than that's what we would do an hour. Considering I am filming and like stopping and pausing and stuff like that. I am getting quite a lot done in an hour. Like, what did you do in an hour? That's a good question. Like, what else could I do in an hour? I guess to edit this video taking me about to edit the video alone taking me about an hour and a half to just edit the video like trim it down. So think about that. It takes more time for me to actually make the video than to film the video, which kind of funny, but that's basically what happened in here. So I am just gonna raise these walls up and just get them normal like castle wall aesthetics. But we're not at all gonna finish it. I'm just gonna do a very basic outline of it. Now, as I said, this is a very basic design. Of course, if you guys want to see us come back once again, put /return in chat and I will come back to this. I will do it. I will push this. I'll push this to the limit. I'll make it 10,000 blocks tall. Whatever you guys want. And we'll come back to it if you guys want to return to it. It's just a very basic outline. We just want to see what's possible within an hour. Now, if you saw my video on building a survival base in Minecraft, then you're probably aware of the pattern method I use. And I think the pattern method, the majority of the creators use, which is just like mix and match a variety of the same color blocks. And that tends to create a lot of depth and variation when it comes to building paths. If you guys want a separate video on making paths, let me know. I'm very happy to do that because I love making like good paths in Minecraft. I think it adds a lot to the build, especially just walking around the ground level. I think a path makes the biggest difference when it comes to making a build from 1 to going to 4. So yeah, this just mix around a variety of different blocks. I went for a very simple one using some stone, some wood, some stone bricks, some normal stone. I think I used some andesite and some gravel, and I just mixed them up and threw them in there. So yeah, do that. And then I just went around and placed down some lanterns in some key areas and did some final touches. And very important, guys, whenever you're doing your lighting, don't overdo it, because you really want to give some natural dark spot that gives you really great contrast at night. And if you did everything right and you're following this and making your own base, you should have something in the end that looks just like this.